Consumer electronics are electronic equipment intended for everyday use, most often in entertainment, communications and office productivity. In British English they are often called brown goods by producers and sellers. Radio broadcasting in the early 20th century brought the first major consumer product, the broadcast receiver. Later products include personal computers, telephones, MP3 players, audio equipment, televisions, calculators, GPS, automotive electronics, digital cameras and players and recorders using video media such as DVDs, VCRs or camcorders. Increasingly, these products have become based on digital technologies, and have largely merged with the computer industry in what is increasingly referred to as the consumerization of information technology. The CEA estimated the value of 2015 consumer electronics sales at $220 billion. History. For its first 50 years the phonograph did not use electronics. However, in the 1920s radio broadcasting became the basis of mass production of radio receivers. The vacuum tubes that had made them practical were used to improve record players as well. Television was soon invented but remained insignificant in the consumer market until the 1950s. The transistor, invented in 1947 by Bell Laboratories, led to significant research in the field of solid-state semiconductors in the early 1950s. The transistor's advantages revolutionized that industry along with other electronics. By 1959, Fairchild Semiconductor had introduced the first planar transistor, from which come the origins of Moore's law. Integrated circuits followed when manufacturers built circuits on a single substrate using electrical connections between circuits within the chip itself. Bell's invention of the transistor and the development of semiconductors led to far better and cheaper consumer electronics products. Main consumer electronics products include radio receivers, television sets, MP3 players, video recorders, DVD players, digital cameras, camcorders, personal computers, video game consoles, telephones and mobile phones. Increasingly, these products have become based on digital technologies, and have largely merged with the computer industry in what is increasingly referred to as the consumerization of information technology, such as those invented by Apple Inc. and MIT Media Lab. Trends. One overriding characteristic of consumer electronic products is the trend of ever-falling prices. This is driven by gains in manufacturing efficiency and automation, lower labor costs as manufacturing has moved to lower-wage countries, and improvements in semiconductor design. Semiconductor components benefit from Moore's law, an observed principle which states that, for a given price, semiconductor functionality doubles every 2 years. While consumer electronics continues in its trend of convergence, combining elements of many products, consumers face different decisions when purchasing. There is an ever-increasing need to keep product information updated and comparable, for the consumer to make an informed choice. Style, price, specification, and performance are all relevant. There is a gradual shift towards e-commerce web storefronts. Many products include internet connectivity using technologies such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Edge or Ethernet. Products not traditionally associated with computer use now provide options to connect to the internet or to a computer using a home network to provide access to digital content. The desire for high-definition content has led the industry to develop a number of technologies, such as wireless HD or ITU-TG.HN, which are optimized for distribution of HD content between consumer electronic devices in a home. Manufacturing. Many consumer electronics are built in China, due to maintenance cost, availability of materials, quality, and speed as opposed to other countries such as the United States. Cities such as Shenzhen have become important production centers for the industry, attracting many consumer electronics companies such as Apple Inc. Electronic component. An electronic component is any basic discrete device or physical entity in an electronic system used to affect electrons or their associated fields. Electronic components are mostly industrial products, available in a singular form and are not to be confused with electrical elements, which are conceptual abstractions representing idealized electronic components. Software development. Consumer electronics such as personal computers use various types of software. Embedded software is used within some consumer electronics, such as mobile phones. This type of software may be embedded within the hardware of electronic devices. Some consumer electronics include software that is used on a personal computer in conjunction with electronic devices, such as camcorders and digital cameras, and third-party software for such devices also exists. Standardization. Some consumer electronics adhere to protocols, such as connection protocols, to high-speed bi-directional signals. In telecommunications, a communications protocol is a system of digital rules for data exchange within or between computers. Trade shows. The Consumer Electronics Show trade show has taken place yearly in Las Vegas, Nevada since its foundation in 1973. The event, which grew from having 100 exhibitors in its inaugural year to more than 3,600 exhibitors in its 2014 edition, features new consumer electronics and speeches by industry pioneers. Retailing. Electronics retailing is a significant part of the retail industry in many countries. In the United States, big box store retailers include Best Buy and Sears, with Best Buy being the largest consumer electronics retailer in the country. Broad-based retailers, such as Walmart and Target, also sell consumer electronics in many of their stores. In April 2014, retail e-commerce sales were the highest in the consumer electronic and computer categories as well. Some consumer electronics retailers offer extended warranties on products with programs such as Square Trader. See also. Category: Consumer electronics retailers. An electronics district is an area of commerce with a high density of retail stores that sell consumer electronics. See also. Category: Electronics districts. Industries. The electronics industry, especially meaning consumer electronics, emerged in the 20th century and has now become a global industry worth billions of dollars. Contemporary society uses all manner of electronic devices built in automated or semi-automated factories operated by the industry. Mobile phone industry. By country, service and repair. Consumer electronic service can refer to the maintenance of said products. When consumer electronics have malfunctions, they may sometimes be repaired. In contemporary times in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, increased popularity in listening to sound from analog audio devices, as opposed to digital sound, has sparked a noticeable increase of business for the electronic repair industry there. Environmental impact. Energy consumption. The energy consumption of consumer electronics, and their environmental impact, is increasing steadily. EIA estimates that electronic devices and gadgets account for about 10% to 15% of the energy use in American homes, largely because of their number. The average house has dozens of electronic devices. The energy consumption of consumer electronics increases, in America and Europe, to about 50% of household consumption. If the term is redefined to include home appliances such as refrigerators, dryers, clothes washers and dishwashers. Standby power, used by consumer electronics and appliances while they are turned off, accounts for 5 to 10% of total household energy consumption, costing $100 annually to the average household in the United States. A study by United States Department of Energy's Berkeley lab found that video cassette recorders consume more electricity during the course of a year in standby mode than when they are used to record or play back videos. Similar findings were obtained concerning satellite boxes, which consume almost the same amount of energy in on and off modes. A 2012 study in the United Kingdom, carried out by the Energy Saving Trust, found that the devices using the most power on standby mode included televisions, satellite boxes and other video and audio equipment. The study concluded that UK households could save up to £86 per year by switching devices off instead of using standby mode. A report from the International Energy Agency in 2014 found that $80 billion of power is wasted globally per year due to inefficiency of electronic devices. Consumers can reduce unwanted use of standby power by unplugging their devices, using power strips with switches, or by buying devices that are standardized for better energy management, particularly Energy Star marked products. Electronic waste describes discarded electrical or electronic devices. Many consumer electronics may contain toxic minerals and elements, and many electronic scrap components, such as CRTs, may contain contaminants such as lead, cadmium, beryllium, mercury, dioxins, or brominated flame retardants. Electronic waste recycling may involve significant risk to workers in communities, and great care must be taken to avoid unsafe exposure in recycling operations and leaking of materials such as heavy metals from landfills and incinerator ashes. However, large amounts of the produced electronic waste from developed countries is exported and handled by the informal sector in countries like India, despite the fact that exporting electronic waste to them is illegal. Strong informal sector can be a problem for the safe and clean recycling